It is the Grand Dame of Hanoi, standing proudly since 1901. The Hotel legend, Metropole Hotel, is a legendary landmark hotel that embodies the city's rich history and architectural heritage. Okay, here we go. St. Joseph's Cathedral, a Gothic gem in Hanoi. Standing tall amidst Hanoi's bustling streets, St. Joseph's Cathedral is a captivating landmark and a testament to the influence of French colonial architecture in the city. Construction began in 1886 and was completed in 1898. The design, spearheaded by French architects, drew inspiration from the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, creating a distinctly European feel in Hanoi. St. Joseph's Cathedral is a prime example of Gothic revival architecture. Key features to look for are twin spires, stained glass splendor, flying buttresses, rose window. I don't think it has flying. What's going on with these people? The two towering spires, reaching 69 meters, dominate the skyline and are a defining characteristic of Gothic architecture. We're going to see if we can go inside. Be cool. It says they're flying buttresses. I don't think that's correct. I don't know where we got that. These external arches, hallmark of Gothic design, provide structural support and add a touch of grandeur. That is, the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris has flying buttresses, but as you can see, there are no external pieces that hold this up, and wouldn't be necessary because this was built at a time when that feature wasn't required to hold up these large spans. This was built in the modern era, so sorry about that. The large circular window above the main entrance features intricate tracery, a common Gothic element. Step inside the cathedral to discover a peaceful sanctuary. Let's see. No food, drink, no hat, no smoking, no cell phone, no flash photography. The soaring ceilings create a sense of awe and majesty. They certainly do. Pictures and paintings, biblical figures and stories, depicting biblical figures and stories adorn the interior walls with stained glass windows. St. Joseph's Cathedral remains an important place of worship for Hanoi's Catholic community. But, no, okay, come in. I didn't know what you thought I was thinking. I don't think it is, because I found the library on the map and it's not here. So I have nothing to say about this, except it's a pretty building and a lovely garden in front. What's this nonsense? National Library, here we go. Great. The National Library of Vietnam, a blend of French style and modernity. Unlike strictly French colonial architecture, the National Library of Vietnam boasts an interesting design that reflects a different period of French influence. The National Library of Vietnam, established in 1917, is the nation's central library and a vital repository of Vietnamese culture and history. Construction of the current building began in 1954 and was completed in 1960. The design by Vietnamese architects incorporates elements of French Beaux Arts style with a modernist approach. It says the National Library is not typically open to tourists. However, you can still appreciate the architecture from the outside and share some interesting facts. That door was standing wide open. Let's just see. Let's see if they let us. The National Library houses a vast collection of books, newspapers, and other historical documents, serving as a treasure trove of Vietnamese knowledge. The library stands as a symbol of Vietnam's commitment to education and cultural perfection. Oh, cultural preservation. I mean, it sounds like the Borg. Lovely building. It said this one was built in 56. This area offers a unique blend of European elegance with Vietnamese influences, creating a charming and walkable atmosphere. We're going to see architecture such as neoclassical, like the Hanoi Opera House, Art Deco, like the State Bank of Vietnam, and Indochine style, such as the Vietnam National Museum of History. Probably ought to check the map, see if I'm in the right place. Yep, straight shot down. Alrighty. That showcase the fusion of French and Vietnamese aesthetics. French influence extends beyond just buildings. We also have tree-lined boulevards, French cafes, and elegant shops that contribute to the overall ambiance. The most iconic landmarks here are the Hanoi Opera House, St. Joseph's Cathedral, and the government guest house. You will find, I mean, most of the French Quarter is French colonial buildings. They're still here and still gorgeous. There are walking tours that you can get to do this. I recommend those. I don't have a particular one. The company that I tried to contact didn't respond, which I find to be a very common thing. Sure, what's going on with the business world? It seems like this started with the pandemic. They started by going, "Oh, the pandemic is just awful. We can't respond to your issues because we didn't bother to hire the people to do it." And then people started accepting that. It seems like every company out there just fired their customer service people. Like no one talks to the public anymore. No company deems the public worthy of their time. Stupid customers that pay them the money. Who cares what they need? Sorry, that was the ranting I was supposed to stop doing. These buildings aren't just historical remnants, but many house government offices, restaurants, and cafes, allowing visitors to experience the French colonial era firsthand. French colonial architecture sits alongside traditional Vietnamese architecture, offering a glimpse into the city's rich and layered history. So I was going to give you photography tips. I mean, I'm not a photographer, as you can tell on this channel. Neither am I a videographer. But I can tell you the standard advice is get your pictures at sunup, sundown, and I say noon. I never hear anyone else say noon, but that's when shadows are minimized. Of course, the sun is at its brightest as well, so the shadows are at their strongest but smallest. And if you want to get shadows because you love drama or you don't care, I'm sort of always interested in capturing things as they actually are, so I don't follow that photography advice. Also, I ain't getting up at sun up anyway, so that cuts off half the time. All right. Okay, Trung Vung, charming example of French colonial architecture. Trung Vung School holds a special place in Hanoi's architectural landscape. A legacy of education, founded in 1917 as Dong Can High School for girls. Trung Vung School has served as a prestigious educational institution for over a century. This might be just the best place to view from anyway. The school building exemplifies French colonial architecture characterized by its red tile roof. The vibrant red tiles on the roof are a classic feature of French colonial buildings in Vietnam. Yellow painted walls. The warm yellow facade adds a touch of elegance and complements the red roof. Large windows. These windows, with their characteristic shutters, allow for natural light and ventilation, a common feature in tropical climates. Arched doorways. The arched entryways add a touch of grandeur to the school's entrance. Blend of styles. While the overall design leans towards French colonial, some argue that the symmetrical layout and use of courtyards might hint at subtle influences from traditional Vietnamese architecture. Today, Trung Vung School continues its educational mission, fostering a vibrant learning environment for students. As Trung Vung School is a functioning institution, it might not be possible to enter the building, for example, to take a close look. However, you can still appreciate the architecture from the outside and share its historical significance. It just seems odd. I know I'm asking a lot of all the software and the equipment that I use, jackass. Cars. People in cars, normal people nobody should be allowed to drive them. They're just. Okay, I don't want to crash the thing again. I'm just going to close the window. Hold on just a second. It's going to freeze. Where the fuck did the windows go? Goddamn these idiots. You. and we can see what the next stop is. So I'm guessing this is a University of Pharmaceuticals. Is that what you said? University of Medicine. Oh, School of Medicine implies doctors. This is a place that trains pharmacists. So I'm guessing it's not open to the public. That's my point. In the shade. That historical surprise. This is not French Colonial. The Hanoi University of Pharmacy might surprise you. While it's a significant stop on our tour, it doesn't represent French colonial architecture. Here's what you can expect. Nobody's telling us to leave, so I'm just going to keep going. Big open windows. This is a great way to ventilate. You can imagine the world before air conditioning. It's really gorgeous once you get out of the heat. The thing is, all these windows are actually not being AC'd, and yet it feels 1,000 degrees cooler in here. It's June, so people are graduating, I'm guessing, from the school year. Alright, so let me grab up let me switch over to the map. Read your screen for it. This is only our third stop. Okay, we gotta get it back out and head back towards the Opera House. Maybe some coming up the backside of the building, so there may be some just figuring it out on the way. Nope, maybe I can't get out this way. Okay, back to the front. Why? So the next thing is the Hanoi Opera House. You won't get too confused. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I did have a banner for that anymore. I agree, at least on the grandeur part. Oh God, oh, sorry. Sweat going into my eyes. There's a stabbing sensation this time instead of regular stinging. This is as good a time as any to remind folks that this is not a great time to visit Hanoi. It's just you will not die of heat during that time. Now, if you're going to do a whole Vietnam trip, I get it. You got to pick the all-around best time, but just for your consideration, Hanoi is not a beach town, and there's actually a nice breeze today. You may be hearing it. We don't generally have a breeze or cool respite in the summer or downpours, but overall it's just insanely hot. And fall and early winter, those are the times. Lovely here. You can walk around and do all this stuff and not even sweat. You wouldn't know you were in Southeast Asia. All right, so back to the Opera House. Just a little side note. Look for decorative elements like intricate friezes, sculptures, and ornamental balconies that add a touch of luxury. No, okay. Walk around. Inaugurated in 1911, the Hanoi Opera House was modeled after the Palais Garnier, famed opera house. Oh, he doesn't even go in here. All right, well, let's just trash this then. I don't want to tell you anything's bad because they won't let me in, but it does mean I'm not going to waste my time on the stream. Oh, hello. All right, let's move on to the next place. I have to check the map. Do I have to check the map? National Museum of History. No, I know where that's. Okay, all right. That's multiple times I'm in there and I'm like, boy, can I film here? Can I see the lovely sign? And they're like, nope, get out. Not even the garden. Let's show what I can show of the outside of the building. It is a gorgeous building. How about that? And I hope anybody who's able to watch something from the Saigon episodes will remember and be able to compare this to the Opera House there, which is much more famous, big tourist site, featured in many movies, and it is teeny tiny compared to this one. I know it's not all about the size, I get it, but still, this is like gorgeous, imposing, mammoth, and just keep your pants off of that one, except of course you can't go in. Maybe that's why that one's more famous. It's not just a building, it's a treasure trove of Vietnamese history, housed within a structure that itself holds architectural significance. It is a haven for history buffs. Established in 1956, the National Museum of Vietnamese History offers a comprehensive exploration of Vietnam's rich past from prehistoric times to present day. It's French colonial with a twist. The museum building itself was originally constructed between 1925 and 1932 as the École Française d'Extrême Orient. Yes, that is French archaeological research institution. The architecture reflects the French colonial style, with features like red brick walls, large windows, and a symmetric layout. Some argue that the building also incorporates subtle elements of traditional Vietnamese architecture, such as the use of overhanging eaves and terracotta. By combining the architectural heritage of the building with the treasures it holds, the National Museum of Vietnamese History offers a multi-layered experience for you to gain an appreciation of both French colonial architecture at the fascinating history of Vietnam. All right, now we're going to head for the Museum of the Revolution. I also know where that's at. It is not hard to find, but it's not. I never thought it was much of an architectural piece, but it is right across the street. So why not give it a try? Alright, I'm not sure which is supposed to be the front entrance, but this looks more like something of architectural interest, so we're going to go with this side. Maybe that when I came before, I went in the back way. I just didn't know I was doing it. Yeah, okay, so this is more of architectural interest. It says on the sign, there's a shifting of, you wouldn't call it ownership because I think these are government museums, but it says Vietnam National Museum of History, which is the same name as the building we just looked at, which means it's just two parts of the same building, but it didn't used to be that. This used to be called the Museum of the Revolution, so you may see it in guidebooks or other material under that name. That, of course, is just part of Vietnamese history, so it makes sense that they would be together. But be aware that materials may erroneously list. This is the name it was under. I put that on the banner so you can see it. It used to be called the Museum of the Revolution. It seems like that's changing, but of course, updating granting because it was for you. It was on behalf of you guys. National Museum of, I don't know where. This has got to be it. Yeah. Again, lots of screen freezing, which I don't like. I'm just crossing fingers. This is the last time that, last stream where I have to do this. If I, just a little, I don't know how much they cost, just a little tablet computer or just a cheap phone. And you can show a Google Doc to solve this problem. Sorry, I need to be clearer. I just can't wipe. I can't see. Oh, annoying. Okay, I still can't see. I really, really need a second phone. I know I can do it. So there's people in there, and it's not really open. It's not show the building. And if I can get the sweat out of my eyes, I will read to you that this is the Vietnam Museum of Revolution. It offers a unique perspective on Hanoi architecture and history. Here's what you can establish in 1959. The Vietnam Museum of Revolution chronicles Vietnam's struggle for independence from French colonial rule and the subsequent establishment of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. I know I can do it. While most stops on the tour showcase French colonial influence, the Vietnam Museum of Revolution occupies a different architectural space. The museum building prioritizes functionality over ornamentation. It features a simple two-story structure with a focus on providing space for exhibits and displays. The architectural style is a departure from the grandeur of French colonial buildings. Here, the emphasis is on conveying the narrative of Vietnam's revolution. I mean, it's not an especially ornate building at this point. The museum houses a vast collection of artifacts, photographs, documents, and military equipment that tell the story of Vietnam's revolutionary struggle. Exhibits are arranged chronologically, guiding viewers through the fight against French colonialism, the Vietnamese War of Independence, and unification of North and South Vietnam. Where I pulled this from, really avoided saying the American War. The museum highlights the experiences of ordinary Vietnamese people who played a role in the revolution. The museum houses a vast collection of artifacts, photographs, documents, and military equipment that tell the story of Vietnam's revolutionary struggle. Exhibits are arranged chronologically, guiding viewers through the fight against French colonialism, the Vietnamese War of Independence, and unification of North and South Vietnam. If you're trying to look on Google Maps, it can be difficult to find what you're looking for. But just know that if you're at that big, gorgeous building that was across the street, that this one is across the street. So it's not that hard to find. It's right here, but it's a pretty. It's not as grand a building, so it doesn't draw your attention. But it's right here on the corner, the main museum. And that hollow prison that I mentioned, that's in another part. So if it's part of it, then it's just going to be it's just on the other side of the French border. Please share your thoughts on the concept of revolution and national identity. Your country has similar museums dedicated to national struggles or independence movement. Where I pulled this from, really avoided saying the American War. The museum highlights the experiences of ordinary Vietnamese people who played a role in the revolution. The museum offers a window into the Vietnamese perspective on the revolutionary history. The exhibits showcase the sacrifices and determination of the Vietnamese people in their fight for independence. I am very, very sorry that I cannot see. This pain is and everything is fuzzy. The Vietnam Museum of Revolution was recently merged with the Hollow Prison. This is the merger. This is Hollow Prison, which might be part of it too, but it's obviously it says on the outside Museum of History, which is the one across the street, the one we just came from. Hopefully you guys can see it. My screen is frozen. But maybe there's a shifting of all sorts of different sites here and reorganization. Again, I feel certain these are government sites, so it's not like they're being bought, but they're being transferred, reorganized. So be aware of that when you come here. Another note on the Museum of the Revolution, I do think it's worth going to, by the way. We did an episode where we went to it. Nice. And sobering. It goes through both the French, for independence from France, as well as the American War. And if you're an American or French, I imagine, and you come, you will find it an emotional museum to go to, but I don't think it's an important one. And if you want to know about Vietnamese history, and you're not from one of those countries, it's still important. It is the Grand Dame of Hanoi. Standing proudly since 1901, the Hotel Metropole Hotel is a legendary landmark hotel that embodies the city's rich history and architectural heritage. The other is called the Opera Wing. Get around to the corner. I don't think we're going to see both wings, and I don't know that I would recognize. I'm going to try and stay on the opposite side of the street so that I can see the whole building. You can see them not read. I try not to get run over. These not things. Built in the 1990s, the style pays homage. I don't know if this is off. Oh, I'm wrong. You can totally see it. The building wraps around the entire block. This is one building, but if you look closely, you can see a change between the left and right side. What's on the left and right side? But I don't know which one is the opera wing. I guess it's the side that faces the opera. I don't know where the opera is at all. Well, let's read more about it, and then we'll figure it out. Built in the 1990s, this wing reflects a more contemporary style, but pays homage to the Metropole wing with its use of wood and classic design elements. Really don't want to go inside. It's really sweaty and not cool. I'm going to say the one on the left is the more modern. On the right, you have small balconies, you have shuttered windows. This has been a haven for world leaders and celebrities over the years. The Sofitel legend Metropole Hanoi has hosted esteemed guests like Charlie Chaplin, Graham Greene, and Fidel Castro. Graham Greene was the one who wrote The Quiet American. We watched that movie and tried our hand at movie reviewing. I don't think it went over too well, but we tried it. Beautifully exemplifies the blend of French colonial architecture and modern Vietnamese influences, serving the microcosm of Hanoi's history. This is my call to comments, which is, I guess. Have you ever stayed in a historic hotel? We are going to try and I'm not going to walk around outside even if I can. I say stuff like that, and then if I get away with it, I'm like, oh, I'm getting away with it. I go right ahead and do it. It's not currently my goal to walk around inside. I love the outdoor seating. You wouldn't want to do it right now, but lovely place to sit in the evening. Yeah, it's still a Sofitel, but I don't think I went inside. That's a really bad move forward. Next is the Tonkin Palace. Next should not be the Tonkin Palace. Let's go to the State Bank of Vietnam. State Bank of Vietnam. They say it's Art Deco. I see it. I get it. It's Art Deco, but I gotta say, it is on the brutalist end of Art Deco, in my opinion. My uninformed, unworthy opinion. That's pretty severe architecture right there. The State Bank of Vietnam headquarters stands out for its unique architectural style, offering a refreshing contrast to the French colonial buildings seen earlier on the tour. While French architects designed the building, it wasn't built during the French colonial period. Construction began in 1928. It was completed in the early 1930s. That's not French colonial. The architectural style is a prime example of Art Deco, a prominent movement in the 1920s and 30s characterized by geometric patterns. Sorry, there's not much way to walk around this and stay in the shade, so you get the pretty still shot, sorry. Geometric shapes like zigzags, chevrons, and circles incorporated into the facade and decorative elements.
Jag sitter och man kommer runt det är personer som tar över. Jag är med sig för man inte rör. Men jag kan ändå vara lite lobby. Ja, 4. Lämna en tid. Jag kan röra sig från. Helvete. Nej, inte det. Ja, jag sitter och man kommer runt det är personer som tar över. Jag är med sig för man inte rör. Men jag kan ändå vara lite lobby. Ja, 4. Lämna en tid. Jag kan röra sig från. Helvete. Nej, inte det.